The opinions expressed on Goddess of the Nile Radio are expressions for informational and entertainment purposes only and are not intended as a diagnosis, treatment, or a substitute for professional advice. Please consult a professional for your specific needs or concerns. We encourage you to use the topics discussed to generate your own conversation within the community. Should you have any questions or concerns regarding the content of the show, please feel free to use the hashtag GNR or email lovenileradio@gmail.com.
Goddess of the Nile Radio would like to thank our social media sponsors, Dope Curves, Noah's Jungle Bunch, and Chelsea by Chance. Our anonymous sponsor for assisting in making this YouTube live possible. Our small business sponsors, Divine Chakras LLC and Haru Heads. Our artist sponsors, Tanisha Clark and Kenora Berry. Our spiritual supporters, Collective Conscious Minds, Yeshua's Lightworkers, Indigo 11, and Sacred Woman Indigo Circle. And a special thank you to our Patreon members and followers. And to the most important people that make this dream possible, you, our listeners. We are Goddess of the Nile Radio, and we do this for you.
You are now listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio.
It is your birthright to accept and receive the goodness of the world, the tools to create your destiny, the love and nourishment from others, a life of abundance, days filled with propositions, manifested success coming from places that serve you, manifested success poured into your life and the lives of others. You are guided and given the authority to receive the gifts of the universe, for these gifts have already been given to you long before your arrival here. Your faith in yourself makes it real and opens the doors for manifestation to rush in. Your consciousness is open to receive and to give. It is your birthright, and it is done now.
You are now listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio.
Through this mantra of manifestation, all things are possible. We proclaim absolutely that all of us are living in a friendly universe that is always providing for us. We have felt it happening, and we are feeling it happening now. We are open to receive more abundance than we have ever experienced before. We can afford and do anything that our heart desires. We need never to worry again. We are filled with an attitude of gratitude for what we already have and all that we are giving and ready to give. We keep ourselves lifted in high consciousness no matter what the appearances are. The universe is always providing in our favor. We are creators of our today and our tomorrow.
Reciting a mantra is an excellent way to start your day. Calm you down while you are upset and refocus your consciousness. For a copy of this mantra, please feel free to visit our Patreon account by searching for Goddess of the Nile Radio on patreon.com. It's your girl Azure Neteru Gaia, and I'm out. Peace.
Of the Nile Radio.
Well, following your spiritual path. Let's get into it. I'm wondering where my background music is, but hopefully it'll come up sooner or later. I can't hear it, but it's all good. I'm on my Jay-Z this morning. I'm on my Jay-Z. Anyway, following my spiritual path. Well, guys, I am what's known as a mystic Christian. And a lot of people don't understand what a mystic Christian is, and it's something that I figured out just a couple of months ago. When I was growing up, I had these spiritual gifts, and I was wondering what these spiritual gifts were all about. I was having dreams. I was seeing dead people. I was having this strong intuition that was going on. A lot of stuff spiritually was going on with me, and I couldn't figure it out. So my first instinct, of course, was to go to my church and talk to my pastor about it. I began to read the Bible, and I began to have questions of the Bible, because the Bible was saying that it was okay for me to want to play with cards. It was okay for me to see dead people. It was okay for me to meditate. Because, Jesus did it. All of these prophets did it. But what made me different? Why can't I do it? I had so many questions that I wanted my pastor to answer. And then I was told at 15 years old, I'm not allowed to ask those questions. All that did for me was make me extremely angry and upset. I didn't know who I was. And that kind of started my downward spiral into self-addiction. Not self-addiction, but self-destruction. That's the word I'm looking for. So eventually I went through the trials and tribulations of life, and then I came into my own. Eventually I said, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of Noah no nonsense, God of her understanding. I'm going to take some of what Shalom's doing. I'm going to take some of what in turn Chelsea is doing, and I'm going to create the God of my understanding of my own. But in order for me to do that, I had to find inner standing. I had to find knowledge of self. Finding knowledge of self is very important. Once I discovered knowledge of self, I was free. I'm going to say that again, guys. Once I found knowledge of self, I was free. See, finding knowledge of self is important. And you know what? We have our resident spiritual advisor here to tell us why exactly finding knowledge of self and following your own spiritual path is important. Shalom?
It is very important.
I took you on a journey, didn't I, girl?
I was over here just all into it. What I want to say is that there's so much going on energetically right now. And, I always put things into a spiritual context. I always put things into spiritual understanding. And understanding that, we have to, like you said, understand who we are, but understand where we came from, and we have to put into perspective the things that our parents taught us. And then not only that, but then we have to look within, and we have to truly go after what we want to do, right? So everyone realizes like there's this big awakening going on. There's like an awakening of the masses. There is a spiritual enlightenment that is going on with people, and I'm talking like people getting into crystals, people getting into African spirituality, people getting into tarot cards, people getting into Reiki. It is happening everywhere. And if you are already, I guess, like a woke person, as they say, woke, I'm woke, then you will get what I'm saying. And so it's basically a atmospheric shift that's happening right now. We are moving out of the Piscean age, which is the age of Jesus Christ. And the Piscean age is the age of where basically everything is do as I say and do as I do, and if you ask questions, then basically you're going to hell. Okay, you're going to hell. And it was a fearful age. It is a age of fearful tactics. And it's an age of institutionalized religion. And that is what we are moving away from now. We're moving away from institutionalized religion. You see a lot of people coming out of the churches because of everything that's going on in the church. You got Reverend Tyrone, who is dating, the deacon's wife, or, he is, molesting little boys and little girls in the church. So there's a lot of things happening, money-wise in the church as well. Finances are being misused. There's these fake prophets, so to say, in the church. And a lot of people are now looking to other sorts of spirituality in order to comfort themselves because, they've been betrayed by the church. And I'm not saying that I've been betrayed by the church. I kind of came into my spiritual awakening through surgery, but that's another story. I think that Indian doctor did something to me. But really, you guys, we have to look at, honestly, it's as above, so below. The energetic shift that is happening within the Earth's atmosphere. We are now moving out of Pisces, as I said, into Aquarius. Aquarius age is all about wanting to explore things that you normally would not have tapped into. So we look at our parents, as you were saying, the Bible has taught us that we can't study zodiac signs. We can't study astrology, that it's wrong, that it is false idolization, that we are idolizing something outside of Jesus, outside of God. And so with that being said, I myself said to myself, well, if Reverend Tyrone is dating Deacon's wife and he's molesting these kids, then he going to hell.
He's going to hell.
So if he's going to hell and only 144,000 people are getting into heaven according to the book of Revelations, then it's not a lot of people going to heaven. So, and then I had to look at the bigger picture of the fact that, you know, we've been shielded from so many things. And, you know, we look around us and we look at, you know, Black spirituality, African spirituality. It has been demonized.
Yeah.
It has been demonized. It has been, it's been shunned upon by our ancestors, not our ancestors, but our immediate ancestors, right, and our current generation, as far as like our mothers, our grandmothers, those that are still living. Right. You know, they told us, child, if you don't go to church and you don't pay your tithes and offerings, if you don't sing in the choir and this, that, and the third, you going to hell. Yeah. And I'm like, well, how many people are going to heaven? Only 144,000. So what do I do then? So Shalom said, okay, let me connect to myself. Okay, let me connect, let me go within and say, okay, who am I on a spiritual, not religious, because to me, religion is binding. If you look it up in the dictionary, I wish I had Wikipedia, but it says it is a binding mechanism. It is a control mechanism. And so religion has been made to control the masses. That is how religion started in the first place. That is how Christianity started in the first place. It was started to control the masses because people were getting out of control. So, moving forward to Shalom, Shalom says, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to, because, you know, we all feel like we need something to connect to spirituality basis, spiritually, I should say, excuse me. But I said to myself, okay, what did my ancestors do? Before there was Christianity, what was my ancestors practicing? I come from Africa. I don't know about y'all, but my lineage is in Africa, okay? Yes, all right? I don't care about no Moors. I don't care about the Aboriginals. My people came from Africa, okay? So you can say what you want. Hebrew Israelites, all right? Africa power. So my ancestors, they worship the universe. They worship the ground that we walk on, the plants, the trees, the air, the sun, the moon, the stars. That is all that my ancestors had to look to. And that is all that they had to understand. And so that is when I said to myself, okay, I need to connect to the universe. I need to connect to what is going on around me. I need to get back to my ancestors. I need to get back to uplifting my ancestors and actually praising them through dance, through rituals, through altar work, through offerings and things like that. And so for me, why are we connecting? Why do we feel like we need to get back to self? Is because we have lost a sense of self through religion. We've been betrayed through religion, and so we've lost a piece of ourselves through religion. And so now we say, what do I have to do? So all you do is you look to your past. You can only look to what you've been hidden from. Because I know personally, like my mother, you know, when I told her that I was no longer a Christian, she was like, how do you don't believe in God? And I said, well, I believe in God. I just don't believe in God as a man in the sky. I believe that God is a universal energy. I believe that God is the universe. God embodies everything that we see. It's a table, it's the chair, it's this mic, it's the sound. And to me, it's not a man in the sky. And, you know, even though my mother taught me to believe in Jesus, to believe in God, I thank her for that because it gave me a sense of grounding and a sense of, you know, understanding, and it set up my morals. But as far as like, what do I connect to? I never connected to that. I never connected to, you know, when I prayed, I never connected to Jesus. I never felt a connection to that entity. And you already know how I feel about Jesus.
Right.
So
that's my homie.
That's her homie. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes, we gonna get there. But for me, that is the why. The why is that there's an energetic shift going. This is year 11. Mm-hmm. It is the year of enlightening. Mm-hmm. It is the year of spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. Okay, Master Year 11. And when you guys see 1111, because a lot of people that are waking up are seeing these numbers, and they're seeing these universal codes that are happening. And the further you get into the understanding of numerology, you will understand why numbers are so important to the universe, because everything is made up of numbers. So if you're seeing 1111 a lot, you know it's coming. Your awakening is coming. Your awakening is coming, definitely.
Well, thank you, Shalom, for that, for the why. It made tons of sense. I'm glad you brought up my homie Yeshua, because during my awakening in spirituality, and being with the spiritual community, and just to give you a quick background. So I was a Christian, trying to be a Christian, trying to get baptized, never been baptized before. I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones, because growing up in my household, you had the freedom to pick any religion you wanted. So one day I was a Buddha, and the next day I was a Muslim, and then I was a Christian. So I kind of sampled everything.
I'm like that every day now too.
You know, but
spirit.
The interesting part about it growing up is I had to connect to Muhammad and the Holy Quran, and I know I said that incorrectly, sorry guys, but I had to connect to that first in order for me to understand the Holy Bible. And I went through that stage, and then I had to connect to the teachings of Ganesh in order to understand both of those books. And then here I am as this mystic Christian. I was actually depressed. I went through a depression in the month of September, because I wanted to connect to my spiritual guide. I heard so much about spiritual guides. And during this connection, it's kind of funny, but during this connection, I was like, okay, spiritual guide, show yourself to me, you know, and Jesus was like, hey girl, you know, like, I'm here. And we had a really deep, wonderful conversation through prayer. And what Jesus told me was that he's not for everyone. You know, and that's what the church teaches. It's like, it's either this Jesus way or this church way or no way at all. Jesus isn't for everyone. Everyone cannot connect to him. Everyone cannot connect to Neteru. Everyone can't connect to certain energies. You know, some things just isn't for everyone. But Jesus is for me. Jesus is my homie. He did walk, and it hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings on a daily basis how they took him and they used him to control people. It really, really upsets me, and it pisses me off a whole lot, because I don't want to argue with people about whether or not he was alive or whether or not he walked the earth, or I don't want to argue about that. What I want people to respect what I believe, and I don't care if I believe in the dog down the road. Respect that, because that's me following my own spiritual path. You follow yours, I'm going to follow mine. I don't want to debate what I'm into. And I understand that you're trying to wake me up sometimes, and you're trying to say that the Bible is this, that, and the other. You know, it's twisted. It's a lot of inaccuracies that's in the Bible. But what it is what matters to me is what Azure feels, what Azure connects to, because Azure connects to things that make sense. You know, and there's some pieces in the Bible that make sense to me, and there's some pieces in different books. It could be self-help books that make sense to me, and that's the information that I use to carry out my day-to-day activities.
That makes sense, because when I think about studying the Bible, I think about it as studying literature. So when you read a novel, you could discuss it. You can sit here and say, like, this part really right here empowered me, and this part right here, you know, I'm not really feeling it. People always talk about cherry picking from the Bible, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to draw from things. You're supposed to question things. You're supposed to respond to it in a way that's engaging dialogue and supposed to help you heal. The Bible's not supposed to be the end-all, be-all. It's supposed to extend the dialogue further and find your own self within that. It's not supposed to be this big giant ultimate. It's either this or nothing. No.
Right.
It's the church. Go ahead. It's the church that messed it up. But go ahead.
No. I totally agree with all of you on that. And I was just going to say to you that in the Quran it says, "Don't argue about my words among the people with the book." Don't argue. I'll take care of that. Mm-hmm. You just go ahead, do you. Don't argue. And I'm paraphrasing on that. He didn't say do you, but, you know, he just said don't argue with the people of the book.
It'll be
don't
so cool if he said do you, though.
Do you.
But that's what it is. You interpret it in the way that you need to heal. I had a friend who said, when I was a kid, when I would pray, I'd be like, "So, homie, what's up?" Like, and that's how he talked to God. He was like, God is my homie, you know, some people view God as a friend, and some of us view God as like our savior who's gonna like bring us out of this turmoil. It's all about how it is to you, you know?
That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness.
Spirituality is a personal journey at the end of the day, and I mean, I don't owe anyone anything. I don't owe anyone an explanation. I don't owe anyone anything. Mm-hmm. I don't even owe you a hello, goodbye. I don't. So for me, at the end of the day, like, yes, we can sit up here and we can argue about whether Jesus is real, whether God is real, whether the Bible, you know, is accurate or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about knowledge of self. Mm-hmm. Do you know who you are as a person? That's right. Because I'm sorry, but I don't pay Azure's bills. You know, I don't have to deal with what Azure deals with on a daily basis, nor do you have to deal with what Shalom has to deal with on a daily basis. So who cares about, and I'm not saying this like in a negative way, but who cares if I don't believe in Jesus? You know, who cares? Like, what is that going to change? What is that going to do for you? Arguing with me
You're still
about
a person.
What is it really going to do? I mean, we could talk about the thoughts and how we feel about certain entities and deities. I feel like Jesus is a deity. I feel like he's an energetic force that, you know, we use in order to draw different aspects of our lives and get us through certain things. Right. All spirituality is just a way for you to connect in order for you to get to the next level of your life. That's all it is. So I've learned just stepping out and looking outside in, and, you know, working with different divination tools and meditating and things like that. Mm-hmm. You know, we all come from something. We all come from energy. We all come from frequency. So at the end of the day, like, yes, you know, there have been, like you said, you know, people using Jesus as a way to control and, you know, to force certain things on different people within different you know, religious aspects and things like that. And that's totally cool and fine, but I really feel like it's the church. That's what destroyed everything for us, is the church. The black church, okay? Because, oh my goodness, like, we are tithing and offering over $1 billion to the church, and it's like, we build a church. Where are the institutions to actually uplift our people? Where are the facilities to actually bring young men and young women of, you know, whatever race in to actually, you know, mentor, you know, these children, these people that are growing up within these societies, but we still continuing to build churches.
That's dope. That's like a whole nother show. It's a whole nother show, because we always talk about how the family structure and the family home is broken. Our churches and our religious institutions are broken as well. Yes. They're really
they're tax free.
But one thing that I want to say, and what I want to highlight, is the goddess of the Nile Radio, like us. You know, we're an example.
Ashe.
You know, we are leading a powerful example of women. 4, right? It's 4 of us.
It's 4.
I'm an alien, but and I did a snort there.
I'm a starseed.
But, you know, we're an example of 4 amazing, beautifully talented women from all different walks of life, from all different spiritual and religious backgrounds, and we can sit here at the table and have this type of discussion, right?
And respect each other.
And respect each other in the
smiles,
process.
and meaningful smiles.
And meaningful smiles. Yes. So with that being said, how about we go into a music break, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome back. We are back with a Divine Report today, sponsored by Divine Chakras. This is your girl, Shalom Ashe Gaia here. We are here for your weekly tarot card reading, and I am working from the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. And I've been shuffling, but I'm going to shuffle another little hot second here. Ooh.
What we got?
Oh, I'm actually going to draw 2 cards here, as I always do. And we have some wonderful energy going on this week. We have the 9 of Cups. Such a divine number, the divine 9. And then we also have the 4 of Wands. So let's talk about first the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is all about contentment. It's all about ultimate satisfaction. It is all about Mercury retrograde being over. Finally, we are getting our power back. We are finally stepping into feeling a little bit more confident about who we are, about our accomplishments, about the things that we are progressively doing, the things that we are about to do, the things that we are about to manifest. This is all about complete fulfillment. I feel like a lot of us are going to feel very complete and fulfilled this week. Most likely, we're going to feel very confident. I see a lot of solar plexus energy going on, lots of yellows, lots of golds. So work with your solar plexus stones this week. My favorite is pyrite. I love me some pyrite. So grab your pyrite, grab your citrine, which is all about prosperity and abundance. Also vitality as well. I would definitely say also to be generous this week. I just literally gave $3 to a homeless man on the corner as I was coming into Iverson Mall here today. So if you see a homeless person on the corner, give them some money, okay? Give them at least $5, all right? Not no little dollar. Give them $5. You can spare $5, okay? Because with us being generous to someone, you are going to receive that generosity back tenfold, all right? So that is the 9 of Cups. 4 of Wands, all right? So there is going to be, this is just such happy energy. Oh my gosh, this is going to be such a great week for a lot of y'all. Lots of new beginnings, lots of celebrations, there's going to be a lot of things to celebrate this week. There may even be a wedding or a marriage proposal this week. Maybe not for us here, but somebody has a lot of good. Somebody is going to be looking to a marriage proposal. It could even be a job proposal or some type of contractual agreement. So you maybe could be stepping into like a new position and you receive, some type of contract. Or it could be just a job offering all over, or it could just be an offering of some sort, maybe for business. But there is so much happy energy. Also, be aware, even though, Saturn goes in retrograde this week for Capricorn, just be aware that energy is really solely around breaking down structures that no longer serve you. Getting rid of things in your life that no longer serve you. In order for you to really receive the message of the tarot this week, it's going to be very imperative that you release things that no longer serve you, okay? Even if that means you're letting blood family go because they don't support you, even if that means you're letting friends go of 15, 25 years, those friends that don't support what you're doing, that don't want to see you grow, that don't want to see you happy, just be aware that you're going to have to release in order to receive. In order to fill the void, you have to in order to fill yourself up with something new and creative, you have to allow it to be a void. You have to undo something in order to have reconstruction, okay? My advice to you would be the new moon is starting today in Aries, is to get a hold of yourself and make big moves this week, okay? If you have a business and you don't have business cards, make business cards, all right? If you do makeup, for example, and you don't have a YouTube for your makeup, or if you don't have an Instagram for your makeup, start building a portfolio and really putting yourself out there, okay? So this is Shalom Ashe Gaia here. This Divine Report is sponsored by Divine Chakras. If you want to hear more about my readings, please hit me up at divinechakras777@gmail.com.
Let's see. Let's end the show on a positive note.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So how about we do like a round robin, and let's have a conversation individually with someone who may be going through something right now. They may be trying to find themselves and find their spiritual path and their spiritual walk. Let's all drop some jewels on them and give them some words of encouragement. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start with intern Chelsea first.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, I think the best thing about going on your own spiritual path is it's your own spiritual path. So you're doing it on your terms and on your own time, and it takes time. It's a real opportunity to connect with yourself, to get to know yourself, because a lot of us don't know who we are. We go well into adulthood, 13 to 18 to 25 to 40, and we never really learn ourselves, get get to sit with our body and honor our body and our spirit. We always neglect one or the other. We need to have them both. So I think being comfortable with exploring all facets of faith. So if you want to study Buddhism, think about that. I have a friend who grew up in Mississippi, was a Baptist Christian, and then a white girl who was a Baptist Christian, and then she converted to Islam. She wears a hijab now, and she really loves it. She's found something that really works for her.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like a lot of us wouldn't have the opportunity unless we explore outside of our comfort zone,
Right.
and learn about different things other than what we've been taught in the mainstream as Christianity. So,
Ashe.
Yes, yes. I like that.
No
I like
nonsense.
that. Yes, ma'am. This is NOAH, that Noah on the microphone today. I believe, just like Chelsea, that it is your own spiritual journey and it's just for you. But you have to make sure that you also include others around you, because you don't live in your world by yourself. No matter how much you think you are by yourself, you are not alone. So it's also important to bring people that are helping you along with you. Like Shalom said, if they have no purpose for you, get rid of them.
Yes, the purge.
Get rid of, the purge. Oh, that's so scary. That made my eyes close. That was scary. Yeah, you have to purge. You have to purge people. You have to purge people and energy, not just old clothes or old things that you don't want, but actually negative energy that resides in people. If it's people that you can't really get rid of and your child is just so negative, then make sure you tell them, you better kill that devil inside of you. You got a devil living in there. You better kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Whatever that is that you're going through that's so negative, that always keep you negative, let's write about it. Let's talk about it. Let's do something other than what you're doing, and that's nagging and complaining. Yeah, your spiritual journey is definitely for you, but you also are in it with others.
Ashe.
Yes,
my piece is embrace the journey. Embrace the journey. Embrace every part of it, inside and out. Embody the journey. Understand that you are literally breaking down walls of things that you have been taught over hundreds of years.
Oh, God, yes.
And be gentle on yourself, okay? Because it is rough. There's a meme out there that says you think that spiritual journey is about butterflies and unicorns, when it's really about pulling out your hair and crying and, realizing that things just aren't as they seem. And so the third eye is real. The third eye opening is real. I'm going to tell y'all that. And you have to just understand that this journey is beautiful, but embody it, and don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself.
That was beautiful, ladies. Thank you so much. You guys, I hope you've enjoyed your time on the Nile with Goddess of the Nile Radio, live right here on the WinDC Radio app. Just to let you guys know, we are a diverse cast of 4 very strong, beautiful women from all different walks of life, spiritual beliefs, and backgrounds. Everyone is welcome here. When you are alone, don't think you're alone, because we got your back.
That's right.
When you're feeling alone, I just said that. When you're feeling alone, something always speaks through me. I'm like, why are you giving it twice? Someone must need it out there.
I was about to say somebody else.
Yeah, let me say it again. When you are alone, don't feel alone, because we got your back. When you feel like no one loves you, don't feel like that, because we love you. You know what I'm saying? And God, man, there's so many thoughts that's running through my head right now, because I don't know. I just feel like someone needs something. I just feel like someone needs something. I feel like someone is hurting right now. I feel like someone is down right now. Someone is afraid right now. Someone is scared right now to go within. Someone is afraid right now to stand up to that big, bad, ugly monster in their head and in their life. It's okay, baby. It's okay. We here for you. Keep on listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio. We got you. We're going to give you some jewels. We're going to give you everything you need to handle life on life's terms, okay? So my name is Azure Neteru Gaia, and you are listening to Goddess of the Nile Radio right here on the WinDC Radio app. We are here each and every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can feel free to follow us on Facebook under Goddess of the Nile Radio, or our social media pages, which is Love Nile Radio. And if you have a question, you can email lovenileradio@gmail.com. Have an amazing, beautiful week, my loves. We'll see you next time. Peace.